Show us your tips, Daggy and Beaver, with you for midweek racing preview. Beaver's back from a beautiful weekend away. What's happening, mate?
Yes, back and at it, mate. So back into midweek racing after a pretty good weekend of Saturday racing.
You're a happy man after every favourite one at Caulfield or something?
Mate, the last four one, I didn't necessarily tip them all. I was just pointing out it was an interesting stat, but I got a few in there myself.
You did, and a good weekend.
Mr. Brightside was outstanding again. Stamped its class. Daggy was right about the old stages, and they're done and dusted.
Interestingly, I got them both retired in one day, so there you go.
Yes, you did. Although I think you had it retired before that.
Yeah,
so,
they should have retired a year ago.
Before your time again. Yeah. I don't know what owners and trainers were thinking there. They were cooked last prep, and Julie showed that on the weekend.
Hoodoo rode in. He was very happy with your tip of V8, and that was some sort of win as well.
Yeah. I was pretty keen on that last prep and followed that horse. And good ride, good win, powerful horse.
He suggested Caulfield Guineas, and I'd say so. I think, out of grunt, I would suggest 1,400 a mile is going to be right up its alley. That was a proper win. I know,
yes.
It had a decent run, but it probably never looked like losing, really.
No, in the run it looked pretty good, and I was sitting tight there, pretty pleased with myself. It's the way it was panning out.
Yeah, so all in all, good afternoon. A few winners for the boys, a few Cornellas along the way as well. A couple of mine just missed, a couple of yours, including in the last, Casablanca and Peril fought that one out, but it's the difference between a good day and a great day, unfortunately.
Casablanca, and I think I had the first three winners in Sydney as well, which was Straight Ace, Wave Rider Boy and Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, so good job. Let's find some today then. We're back Thursday night with the Fee and Stakes. We had the Moonee Valley and the lead up to the Golden Rose from Rose Hill. But let's kick off at Kenzo today. Beautiful weather again in Sydney. We've got the track in the True on a good track. I suggest it's going to be standard Kenzo on pace early. By the end, you want to be slingshotting probably closer to that outside fence, but we're going to kick off with an 1,800-metre benchmark 72. How are you going to start the day here?
Yeah, interesting way to start the day here. It's a bit of a midway type field, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick with Montefilicty. I've liked the last two runs, 2 back, 1, and then was pretty brave in defeat last start over this distance, only just nosed out by Electrica in a midway. I think that sets up pretty good for this gate 5. Small field, should be hard to beat.
Yeah, on top for me, and fairly keen. I like that Hippo is stuck. Great, good win at Hawkesbury. One of its better runs almost of its career last time out, just missing Electrica. This is, there's not much here. None of these like winning. I think it can win again. Not too many dangers, really. Mountain Guest does come to town with some upside, but I think it's a very nice way to start the day. The rest of this card and the start of Sandown is not as exciting, but we get to a 1,300-metre maiden where I don't particularly like the race. I actually was going to have something at the 40s. We've lost half the field on Wild Flash. I thought the trials haven't been too bad, and I just don't know what else is in this race. I couldn't get too excited about the Waller ones. I thought Suspect had every chance last time and was a little plain. For the sake of the tip, I'm going to have Key Legend on top at $10. I thought those trials were good. From Wild Flash, who's still 20-1 and the outside of the field, and might not be the worst. But you might tell me I'm mad here, Beaver.
No, I'm not going to tell you you're mad, but because I don't really like the race myself, I'm going to go for the unraced Waterhouse Pot runner in Rock Empire. Thought it looked obvious here based on the trial. Won well in the trial. Hasn't been to the track compared to some of these others. So I had it on top and hardest to beat. I thought Suspect, you were right, but I think these types of horses with Waller, they do just tend to improve really quickly. And so I thought it could be one of those horses that improves now, third race.
And does look the right horse for Nash to get on and, actually lift and make them do something. Third up. The third is a 1,400-metre benchmark 72, where I thought that, Well, I like what Tropical Squall did on debut. I like that it's come back. I like the improvement it made between the two trials coming here. And there's not a lot of other pace around. I think it's going to, from gate 2, lob right in the right spot. And I don't know how many chasers there are. I'm going to say the main chaser is Ozala, who I think you were keen on last time before we got washed out, but comes here, gets the right run on its back. The rest of these, yeah, they're going around. A few of these already feel like what you see is what you get with them. What have you made of this?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Ozala. This is a good race, I reckon. I don't mind it. I think a few of these top 3 or 4 horses can go on and continue to win some races, but I got Ozala on top here. I did like its first up run. Thought that was promising. Comes back here, gate 3, and hopefully gets to sit and sprint. I thought Captain Amelia was pretty good first up, well tried in the market, and I think has a little bit of ability. So I think it's one of the chances as well, but a good race.
I think Captain Amelia might end up with the best horse out of the race, so interested to see that, yeah. The fourth is 1400 metre benchmark 72. I was keen on Kokoro's chances before the washout last time. I'm going to stick with it here at the $11. Now, hopefully by gate 4, all Molly Burke has to do is get to the outside fence. It first up last time back in, won well at this track and distance. Same setup here. Going to kick off that way. The main danger is Silvanito, where I think by this stage they start drifting out and Nash has to get to the middle of the track. But all things being equal, it will run well again, as the market suggests. You had a feel for Capital Asset, I think, last week. Are you sticking there?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it at the $10. I think it can run well. So I do have it on top. I'm not going to move away from that. I think it's good value in this. Main danger, Silvanito as well. You get a good guide on the form of Ozala in the race prior to that to see how well and the form line for its previous win. But I think Capital Asset third up here. Both runs in this time haven't been far away, and peak fitness for this.
Beauty. The fifth is a 1550 maiden. There is some last chances here, Beaver. Who you giving the nod to?
Yeah, really struggled here, didn't I? This was a tough race. I sort of went for 2 at a little bit more value. I've gone for Dressel from the Wallace stable. Had the 3 starts. Seems to just be getting a little bit better each time. Gets now, it's backs up over the sort of mile distance, and I think it sets up okay here. I thought Noisy Boy might run a decent race as well. Coming from Scone, wasn't too bad a run last start. Again, gets out now to 1550, which I think will probably suit this horse and could run well in what's a really difficult race.
I don't like the race at all. The 2 that I could find most obviously have had plenty of chances in Princess Raya and Kapakiri. Get 2 quality jockeys on, but now they're 5, 6, 7 runs into their career. I'm not as enthused. I don't think I'll bet in the race in short, but for the sake of the tip, I'm going to go 5 from 1. The 6 is an 1150 benchmark 72, and I'm going to stick with Lavish Empire here, as I suggested last week. It's going to go one or another. It's going to end up in town as a proper horse, or it's going to go round and round and be a Snowden number for the rest of its life. I'm going to give it a chance here with Josh Parr. Should be able to push forward from a nice enough gate and swoop. I think Famous Prodigal runs better than the market here. Has trialled really well. Gets almost control of this race and will run well. And obviously Silent Star is still a Ryan horse early in prep and resumed with a nice enough win here. What have you thought of this?
Yeah, I'm going the same way. As we discussed last time in Lavish Empire, resuming here, looks to have a bit of ability. This sets up nicely. Wasn't overly pushed out in its trial, but prior to that, the win at Bright Farm was good. Gate 7 suits and probably hardest to beat. Got it on top.
Cool. And we're going to wrap up with 1,000 metre benchmark 72. Who do you like here?
Yeah, interesting way to finish the day, but I'm going for number 2, Sebonack. Raced in pretty good company when last in work, and this is a completely different type of field. So it comes back after having 4 or so months off here. The 62 kilos isn't ideal, but this is one a Group 3 race. Trialled well for this. raced in listed company behind horses like What You Need, Benedetta. That's pretty good company compared to this. So I thought it was on top. Sovereign Fund has to show something before I back it again, and some of these others just don't know about. So I've got it on top.
I do too. I don't know how comfortable I am because its best form is old form, but I've always had an opinion of the horse. I was giving it half a chance in some of those races you mentioned, and none of these have Remark and Benedetta on their resume. Trial, as you said, trial was fine. So kicking off this time in Sydney, I'm going to give it a chance here from Markwell Dreamer, who is a horse I have to get past. It was pretty good last time back to the inside. Will be pinned inside again, so would need a little bit of luck, I'm guessing, to get off that rail. But I'm going to make that the main danger. And Niccolo Beagle has a sniper's chance, as I mentioned last week, to finish the day. For progroupracing.com.au, I'll make my best on the card. Race 1, number 3, Montefilicty, and my value, race 4, number 2, Kokoro. What have you come up with?
Yeah, I've gone my best on the card. Race 7, number 2, Sebonack. In the last, think it can run well. And my value bet is race 4, number 4, Capital Asset.
Beautiful.
Top out on our values.
There you go. Cover both. You can. We'll also head down to Sandown, where Hillside is in action on a good track. Rail goes out 9 metres. A disappointing card, I would say. I mean, I think
I'm pretty keen.
It's a good betting card, but some of these are smaller fields. I think there's plenty of winners, but I think we're starting to get towards the time where the Friday nights start kicking in. So we might preview some of them instead of these benchmark 64s, but we'll talk about that once summer hits. We're going to start with a 1,500 metre maiden, and given you're so keen, you may as well lead us away.
Yeah, I think the Waterhouse spot, Gold Bullion will get us away to a winner here. Was good at Wyong, only just beaten there by a nose by a horse that's got a bit of ability, and then wasn't too bad at Kenzo either, running quite well there. I think this will suit. It'll jump on pace here. They'll have to run past it, and it may be just too good for these.
I have nothing more to add. I agree. Yeah, not much else to add here. Double Glazed always finishes like it's fired out of a cannon, and might be the one that runs it down if there is one. The second, I'm pretty keen. The 1,000 metre benchmark 64. I like Austmarr. I liked its win at Cranbourne. I like that it's going to lead this small field. I like that it's probably going to have a 2-length gap on them at the top of the straight, and that's probably the way the race is going to finish.
Pretty much the same as you, mate. It'll be too good for these, and even money all day here.
Absolutely. The third is not loading. Where are we here? The third is a 64 of 1,300 metres, and do we get same here, Beaver? Just on mute, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to stick here with Akasita as well. I just think that first win over the maiden, it was pretty impressive. Just sat off and went bang at Pakenham, so it does come here and can run extremely well. I think Jill Bay can run really well here. That was a good win at Morfettville, and then wasn't too bad at Moonee Valley. Just kept working to the line in that. I think it's got a bit of ability. Certainly concerned about it, but they're the only two here.
Oh, I don't think Snow Patrol's hopeless, but Akasita's the horse. You can tie that. The horse that beat there at Pakenham has city form through a couple of good ones as well. That was a Senticle that ran second to it. Has ran in a couple of decent Caulfield races. So I think it's got a lot of upside, as does Jewel Bay, as does Snow Patrolling. But I think it may lead and sit in a comfy spot in the small field, run away from them. The fourth is a benchmark 70 over the 2,400 metres. And I want every bit of the price on offer here. I want $7 or $8 because we're putting our faith in Michelle Payne. But I thought Jukilla's run last week was pretty good. It's on a 7-day backup. And I think it coming out of a proper midweek race, it will run well again. From Fam Gorman, who went away to the bush, bolted in. Does look the obvious danger here, Beaver.
Yeah, clear on top again here for me, Fam Gorman. Last two runs in have been good. As you said, ran away from him last start, drops 4 kilos on that. This is a weak race, and based on that, be too good for these.
The fifth is a 1,400 metre benchmark 70 And speaking of too good for these, Eternal, I love the return of Eternal Flame. Really pinned the ears back, found the line well. Now comes to a race full of fillies and mares that we've more or less seen. I think it does the same thing. Hillside suits again. And if I'm going to find a danger here, I think there might be upside for Mahindra. Nice debut there and is big double figures. What have you thought of this?
Yeah, same. I just like these first five favourites. I think if not all five, four of these five will win. Yeah, and I think this will go close as well. It was start a favourite and beat a good horse in Von Hook, and then came out and won pretty, as you said, easy. First up here, sets up perfectly here. If there's a danger, I think the 5 Magic Cly, third up at $10 could be the knockout horse, but Eternal Flame on top for me.
The 6 is a 1,300 metre benchmark 70. One of the bigger fields on the card. Who have you found in this one?
Yeah, interesting race here. This is where we might be able to find a bit of value. I've gone for number 13, Speak Now, from the Waterhouse Pot stable.
Look at you, just a Gaybot fan these days.
I'm not actually. I'm a bit concerned because every time I follow her, they lead and get shot. But I think some of these in this midweek company, they're just popping up now and just finding it really hard to get past. And this could be one of those in this race. So I kind of went looking for something else, but I thought around the $8, this might run really well. And again, comes off some Sydney form as well. So that'll do me.
On top for me as well. I like that resumption. I had a couple of doubts of it coming in, actually, but that was a strong win. I like that Winona's down south now riding for them. You can trust her there on the Waterhouse horses, and I like up in distance through the preparation for Waterhouse. Always seems to work best. So almost finds control of this race, and at the each way price, I'm sticking to from Anila, who brings proper Saturday form here. With Mark Zara, who hasn't exactly set the world on fire since he's come back this spring, actually, but does bring the proper form. And I can forgive Master of Chant a little bit. I don't know if it ran out a mile last time, freshened up back to 1,300 metres. Might be better than that last result suggests. Good race that will lead to better stuff because there's some other talented horses here. The 7th is a benchmark 78 over the 1,800 metres. Legend of Dubai now comes here third up, gets, said Mark Zara, gets the right run from the gate and meets an average field, we'll say, off a proper Saturday run. Should win this and head back to town for some better stuff on top for me. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, same for me. Went looking for something to beat it and couldn't find anything. If there is a main danger, Spycaster, the overseas horse, ran on quite nicely last start. It could be definitely the one for the Quinella, but Legend of Dubai, if it's going to go on to better things, needs to be winning this.
And we're going to finish up. We've got the Hawks favourite in the sprint here as well. Is that the way you've gone?
No, I'm going Vivian. 3 in a row, and I can't see any reason why it won't be 4 in a row. Gets the right setup here. This looks like a good race. Couple of scratching here, just sets up nicely for it. The money's come for it, and I've got it on top.
The format of its last few runs has held up too. We saw Wave Rider Boy come out and win in Sydney.
That's right.
On the weekend. There's 2 hopes. This is last chance for Fire. Again, it's another one whose best form was maybe 12 months ago, but the trials have been fantastic this time in. On its day, should be the best sprinter in this race. So we're going to give it a last crack here. Terrified of Vivienne, and I hate to say this, but this might be a case of following the market a little bit to see where Fire exactly is once it opens up. But I think there's only 2 hopes if they're both here at their best.
That's right.
So we'll just watch that throughout the afternoon. The one you can trust is Vivienne, that it's going to be on pace. She's flying.
Yeah, you want to watch the market there. If the money comes for Fire, you could suspect it's primed and ready to go. If not, if it drifts, then maybe follow the money.
Yeah, exactly. Where's your money going for a best and value on a card you're obviously pretty excited about?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on some of these, but race 2, number 2, Austmarr, is going to be my best on the card, and my value bet comes up in race 6, number 13, Speak Now.
Beautiful. Don't have much to add. My best is race 2, number 2, Austmarr, and my value is race 6, number 13, Speak Now. I like, as I said, I was a bit disappointed in the depth of the card, but I like the betting opportunities. Good chance to build the bank for Saturday here. We're building our bank with anything up at Eagle Farm.
Yeah, got a few up at Eagle Farm for us that I think can win. The first one comes up in race 3, number 2, Beast Mode. Back that up and double it up onto race 4, number 12, Sacred Feeling. And then later in the day, my one at a little bit of value comes up in race 8, number 14, Sunset Sorority.
Beautiful. Thank you, Beaver.
No worries.
We'll be back Thursday night to preview Moonee Valley and Rose Hill ahead of us this weekend. Good punning this afternoon, and we'll talk soon. Check out Progress Racing, of course. Bye.